Good morning, friends. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday morning so far and that you've woken up in a great mood and you've had a good sleep. Fridays are all about kind of chilling out a little bit before the weekend. A lot of us like to enjoy a big training on the weekend, on Saturdays and on Sundays. Sometimes people have their long runs scheduled. So I want to make sure that we get a good stretch today, a good chill out. And today's class is for Yin for cyclists and runners. So a really light, nice and relaxing Yin practice. And we've got lots of people coming in. So I can just start to see messages coming up in the comment box. Are you on? And yes, we are on. Hopefully you found us, Debbie. Lots of people coming in, joining. Thank you so much all of you for coming in this morning. So as you're getting organized, I would ask you to get a strap. If you don't have a strap, we don't have one at home, believe it or not. So we looked around. So I grabbed a belt out of Martin's closet, and a belt works as well. Anything that's long like this will work. Maybe a towel, but a long towel, because we are going to be using those today. And you'll need a bunch of pillows. As always in Yin practice, we want to be fully supported. We don't want to be sitting in a pose and feel like the muscles are starting to kind of shake like that. So grab hold of a long strap, and I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. And you maybe have to run upstairs to go get that. And good morning, everyone. Everybody's getting on there. And grab a hold of a bunch of pillows as well so that you can fully support yourself in the poses. So we're going to get started. I'm going to turn down the spa music in the background just a little bit so we don't get shut down by Facebook, because Facebook doesn't like music in the background. And just start to come onto your mats and start to breathe if you haven't been breathing yet this morning. Maybe you've been running around trying to get all kinds of stuff done. So make sure you've got your straps, your pillows, and you're all set. Good morning, Camille and Gavin are on. So introducing our Director of Logistics and Humor, Martin. He's going to be our demonstrator today so that I can talk you through the poses. So we're going to get started. The first pose is called crossed caterpillar. So cross caterpillar, we've got both legs crossed. So we're going to cross the right leg on top of the left leg, like that. And in caterpillar pose, we bend all the way forward. So we want to make sure that we have a lot of pillows here on top of each other so that we can stack you forward. So leaning forward as far as you can go, and maybe you want to pull those pillows down a little bit more there. And then you can rest your head maybe on another pillow. Lucky thing we have a lot of pillows. Hopefully your kids aren't still in bed. You just grab their pillows from them. All right, so here we are. So Martin's legs are actually crossed. So his right leg is on top of his left leg down here, as you can see. And then he's fully supported there. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay. And make sure that as your head comes down onto the pillows that you've created a little space to breathe so that your nose and mouth are not stuffed into that pillow. Good morning, Heather. Lots of people joining us this morning. All right. So I'll let you get organized into that pose.
I can feel the pull in my left leg now.
Yes. So, okay. So that's interesting. So he's already starting to feel the pull. And this is like doing an IT band stretch. So we do these standing, but now we're doing this seated. So as you pull into the pose, we're just going to start to focus on the breath now. Starting to inhale and exhale through the nose, and notice exactly where your breath is right now. Maybe your heart rate went up because you realized you didn't have a strap or pillows and you had to run up and down the stairs. we need to bring that breath down and that heart rate down. And the best way to do that is by taking deep exhales. And now the heart rate starts to come down. Breath and heart rate are really, really connected. If we can use that breath, the heart rate starts to come down. And as we exhale, we start to notice how not only does the breath slow down, the heart rate slows down, but we also notice how all the muscles start to relax. With every inhale, bringing that oxygen into your lungs. And with every exhale, noticing how your shoulders start to relax. Drop those shoulders down, let those go. Starting to take a scan around your body with every exhale in certain areas that you can find that are holding a little bit of tension still. Taking this time to relax, to unwind tension. Tapping into your parasympathetic nervous system and giving yourself time to focus on you. We focus on lots of other people in our lives. This is your time. And for those of you who are helpers in our group this morning, it's okay to focus on you. It's okay. It's not selfish. Because if we aren't strong, we can't be good helpers. This is the time where we have to spend quality time on our own bodies and our own minds to relax and be better at what we do every day. Releasing stress, releasing tension, and letting our muscles unwind from all the training. We'll take one more minute here as you continue to relax into the pose, focusing on the breath, deepening the breath now, inhaling, starting to count your breaths, making that count your meditation, your focus on the moment. And we'll start to come out of that pose now, lifting up the head. Lots of groaning. Oh, groaning is good. Lots of deep exhales. Take any little movements that you need. And then just start to think about how you're going to change the cross of your legs. So we'll have to probably remove some of those pillows and change the cross of the leg. So you can see now that we're going to take the left leg on top of the right leg. And then start to come into the pose on the other side. And maybe you need an extra pillow on this side because maybe your right hip is tighter than your left hip, or your right hamstring is tighter than your left hamstring. We're going to be doing a lot of focus on the hips and the hamstrings, releasing the back. And here we are, exploring the other side. paying attention to what's going on.
Less of a pull on this side.
Less of a pull on this side. Okay, so already Martin's noticed that difference, and so he's paying attention to what's going on. And paying attention is so important when we're in a yoga practice. A lot of people think that we have to sit there in this pose and be uncomfortable. It's not about being uncomfortable at all. We want to make sure that when we're sitting in a pose, especially in yin practice, that we're fully supported. We don't want to feel the muscles shaking and there's a struggle going on. So if you're feeling that struggle, ask yourself how you can change this pose to make it more comfortable. Yoga isn't about being uncomfortable. Yoga is about the ability to relax and unwind and breathe. And if we're sitting and being uncomfortable, we can no longer breathe. So come back into your breath if you found your comfortable place. And just count the breaths. We're not trying to push the breath in and out. We're just allowing it to happen. Noticing how many seconds you inhale for, and just noticing how many seconds you exhale for. Just being with yourself in the moment and on the mat. As we finish this last minute on this yin pose, I'm going to ask you to set an intention. My intention today, I'm going to share with you, is something that I have on a towel in my bathroom. And it says, when you can't control the winds, adjust your sails. When you can't control the winds, adjust your sails. We've certainly had to be doing a lot of adjusting in the last 5 weeks. And we can't control what's going on in the world outside of us, but we can control adjusting how we adapt to it. So maybe it means that, you have to go grocery shopping less. There's a lot of adjustments we've all had to make. We've also had to make a lot of adjustments in technology, in the way we live every day and get along with everybody in our home. How could you adjust your sails a little bit better? Maybe you want to set an intention around that in your day, in your week. We'll take one more lovely inhale. One more lovely exhale. And start to pull out of this pose now. Lifting up the head, straightening out your back. Maybe you need to move your head around a little bit, your neck around a little bit. We'll remove the pillows. Lots of groaning. I love when I hear groaning.
I'm not groaning.
You're not groaning. All right, so you just enjoy that rebound. Maybe you want to lie back onto your backs and bring your knees in towards your chest just to give yourself a little bit of a counter pose here. So we're going to be doing still movements, and then we're going to move around a little bit in between the stillness just to allow your body to kind of adapt to what just happened. So bring those knees up in towards the chest if that feels right. Maybe that doesn't feel like what you need. Enjoy whatever it is that you need. As always, I love it when people listen to their bodies and their intuition, and just allow yourself to figure out what you need right now. Ask yourself, "Ooh, what would feel good?" And go there. It really doesn't matter because nobody's watching. And even if I was, I would be smiling. Okay, we're going to come into the next yin pose now, and that is called the seated twist. So in seated twist, we're sitting right up on our buttocks, and we're going to bring the right knee across the body so it's nice and tight in towards your chest. The right foot is on the ground, and then grab hold of that right knee and sit up tall. So you're going to grab hold of the right knee with the left arm and sit up tall, nice and tall. There we go. Good. Nice and tall. Take the right arm up as high as you can and then reach it back behind you. Try to keep it tall though. Nice and tall. Yeah, nice and tall. And now twist a little bit towards the back. Oh, that feels good. Now, everybody's range of motion is different on this. So the main thing that we have to be sure of is that you're nice and tall. We don't want to be slouching down in this pose. Not good for the spine to slouch. So nice and tall, and then twist to the back. You can look over your right shoulder if that feels good. And here we are, holding on to that pose. First, we pay attention. We're paying attention to what it feels like. And is this where we want to be? Do we need to back off a little bit? Is anything shaking? Are you struggling in this pose? Or is this a place you feel like you can hold on to for about 2 minutes? If you're settled in now, just close your eyes, soften the breath. And now start to pay attention to any areas you're holding on to tension. Are you tense in through your shoulders or your neck or your jaw? Uh-huh. And if you are, let that go. Just do one more scan through the body. Make sure you're holding on to no tension. And if that's feeling good, start to listen to your breath and just pay attention to it coming in and out. Inhaling and exhaling. Adjusting your sails as you need to. If you're feeling like it's becoming too stressful being in that position, just back it down a little bit. Yoga isn't competitive. It's just about you and your mat. And we'll unwind from that side, looking all the way to the front. Just do a little counter pose. So yet Martin immediately wanted to do a counter pose, which means he wanted to twist the other way, which is exactly what I had planned. So just twisting the other way so it feels right. There we go. Oh, nice. And then come on back to center. And we'll switch on over to the other side. So now we've got the left knee in towards the chest. So you're grabbing hold of the left knee with the right arm, tucking it in nice and tight. Now remember, lift up tall, nice and tall. And then take that left hand and bring it up and behind your back and twist towards the back. Finding a place where you feel that you're nicely stretched, but not finding a place where you're uncomfortable. So maybe you need to go as far as you can and then back it down just a little bit. Paying attention first to where you want to take that stretch. And then once you've discovered where you need to take the stretch, take that scan through your body. How can you release your shoulders just a little bit more? Your neck, your jaw. Or maybe you're holding a little bit of tension that you don't need in your lower body. Are you scrunching your toes? And now breath. Inhaling and exhaling. And adjusting your sails when you need to, anytime. Softness in the breath and softness in the pose. And we'll release that side, rotating back to center and taking that lovely little counter pose again, where you just reach around to the other side, stretching out your back on that side. Noticing now how things are starting to feel relaxed and released. We'll come on to our backs now into what's called figure four pose. So in figure four pose, we come down onto the backs, bring the knees in towards the chest. And we're going to take the right foot onto the left knee. So the left foot comes back down to the mat now. So we're putting it right on top of that left knee. There we go. And then as we lift up, we're going to take the knee in towards the chest and bring this leg, the left leg, up off the mat. Grab hold of your left hamstring with both hands and bring that in towards your chest. So right here, we're feeling the stretch in our right hip and our left hamstring a little bit. Okay, again, so here we are in figure four. This is where we're going to rest in this yin pose. Hopefully we can all feel that going on. So from here, we don't want to have a lot of tension in the shoulders. So let's see if we can just release that right away. So make sure that your shoulders relax down onto the mat. Your head and your neck and your jaw. And maybe start to think about how much tension you want on that right hip. This is where we're feeling it the most right now. So make sure that you're not feeling like that muscle on the right side, that hip is shaking. Just back it down a little bit if it is, because we're going to be here for 2 minutes. So we want to make sure again that we're in a place that we can rest and relax and continue to breathe. If you're feeling like you're in the right place, soften your eyes, soften your jaw, and soften your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Counting that breath. If your mind starts to get distracted, come back to just counting the breath. And we'll start to come off of this side, releasing the right foot from the knee, taking the left foot back down to the mat. Just to give a little rebound here, we'll do a little windshield wipering of the knees in one direction and take the arms straight up towards the sky and windshield wiper them in the other direction. Spread your feet apart so that they're the width of the mat. And here we are allowing the spine to release. So as we're stretching out the hips and the hamstrings, we're also allowing the spine to release. Especially in cycling, our lower back gets super, super tight. So this is an opportunity to allow L4, L5, and your SI joints just to kind of let go. All right, let's come on over to the other side if that feels right. And we will take the left foot onto the right knee and grab hold of the right hamstring. The right foot starts to come up, but just relax the right leg as much as you can. Allow the toes and the feet to relax. Allow your shoulders to relax. And start to pull that hamstring in towards the chest. Paying attention to any tension that you have in your body and seeing if you can let that go just a little bit more. I always like to start with the shoulders, the neck, and the jaw. Softening everything in through the chest. Just allowing that right leg to flop. Let it relax. Making any adjustments you need to make at any time. Making that commitment to yourself that you're not going to be sitting and resting in pain. Knowing that you can make any adjustments anytime. Coming back to focusing on the breath. Being on the mat. Being aware of in your own space. Maybe feeling air against your cheek. Noticing any sounds in the room. Being present, being in this moment. And now we start to unwind that stretch, releasing the foot, releasing the leg back down onto the mat. And taking that windshield wiper again, take the feet the width of the mat, take the arms up towards the sky, and take the knees over to the right and the arms to the left, moving back and forth, one side to the other side, moving at a pace that feels right. Noticing again how things are starting to release. Yin is a great practice to bring down the inflammation in the body, get it prepared for a big weekend ahead. And we'll come into our next pose. We're going to stay on the back. Bring the right knee in towards the chest. And then straighten out the left leg. This is called a knee crossover stretch. So it's very similar to windshield wiper. And then we're going to take the right leg, right knee, all the way across the body. Straighten out the right arm. Take the palm up towards the sky. And here, when we normally do this in a practice, we may not have it supported because this sort of is a quick stretch. But in Yin, we want to make sure this is supported. So grab hold of some pillows and make sure that you're completely supported under that right knee. You don't want to feel any tension at all. You want to feel like you're having to hold on to it. That's good? Okay. So now the right knee can rest on the pillow. And you can see that Martin's completely twisted around. There we go. A lot of people I find when I'm teaching yoga don't like to use props because they think it's cheating. And it's an interesting concept. It's not cheating at all, and especially in Yin. You want to be able to feel fully relaxed. And if you don't have those pillows underneath there, then you're actually cheating yourself because you don't get the full pleasure of being nicely relaxed into that Yin pose. So we've got the pillows supporting there. Got a nice twist happening here. Sometimes you may feel a release in your SI joint. So we don't need that visit to the chiropractor today if it's been released already. And now start to pay attention to your neck and your jaw. Are you clenching your teeth? Let that go. And where you look right now, maybe it's over your right shoulder or your left, is totally up to you. Maybe you want to just keep your head steady and you don't want to feel any tension in your head or your neck or your jaw. It's up to you. Adjust your sails as needed. Just enjoy that stretch, that release of the spine. And we'll start to unwind this lovely twist, bringing the right leg back to center, releasing the spine, straightening everything out. Yeah, grab that pillow, bring it on over to the other side. Taking any little movements that you like before we move over to the other side. I think we're ready to go. So let's bring the left knee in towards the chest. Straighten out the right leg and bring that right leg all the way across your body, allowing it to gently rest on the pillow here. If you need another pillow, maybe this side is a little bit more tense, grab hold of another pillow, finding a place where you can rest your knee. Straighten out your left arm, making sure your palm is facing up towards the sky. And decide which way you want to look. Again, if you want, you can change that anytime. Find that place where you can relax. Asking yourself if you've gone too far. Maybe you want to back it off a little bit. Maybe you want to add another pillow. Just being good to your body, good to your soul. Inviting in those great sensations into your body. And now, having done 30 minutes of yoga so far, feeling the changes in your body and your mind, and sending a little bit of gratitude towards yourself for joining in on the practice today. Noticing your breath again. Maybe it's slowed down to a place where it just feels like you've woken up in the morning, fully relaxed. And as we start to unwind from this twist, release the leg, bring it right back across your body. Adjust your spine, straighten everything out. And we'll come into happy baby, or your version of happy baby. Taking the knees in towards the chest. Bring your elbows inside your knees. Either grab hold of your big toes or your ankles or your shins. You can take a little rock from side to side if that feels good. Just enjoying the rebound. And if that feels right, we'll come on out of that. And we're going to grab hold of the straps now. So we've got a strap or a belt. We're improvising here with one of Martin's belts. It's not ideal because it's not long enough, but it'll work. So what we're going to do is take the right leg. Actually, let's start with the left leg. I think they'll be able to see it better. So let's start with the left leg. We're going to take the strap right underneath the foot of the left leg. Bring it up towards the sky. And then take the strap into your left hand. And then allow the left leg to go over towards the left side. And again, we're going to need some pillows here to rest the left leg. Now, some people may have the flexibility to take the left leg all the way down to the floor.
Goes the way here.
Okay, you may need to shimmy over my way here. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. So we've got pillows set up over there for his left leg, so he can fully relax onto the pillow there. And you can straighten out the right leg. And here you're going to feel this in your left adductors. Those are your inner thighs. Yes?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So as you settle into here, decide whether or not you've got enough pillows. And if you don't, grab another one. Or maybe you've got too many pillows, adjust your sails. This is something you can control, right? You can control the comfort level of this stretch. And again, we don't want to be uncomfortable. We just want to find a place where you can feel a stretch, but not so much that the muscle starts to shake, that you put more tension into your shoulders because you're hanging on for dear life. And now you're adjusted. Enjoy the stretch. Just start to notice that little tingling that happens in your inner thigh. That lovely sensation of feeling those muscle fibers at the cellular level, just releasing one little bit at a time. And just allow that to happen. Check in to make sure you're not holding on to any tension anywhere. And we'll start to come on out of that side. Bending in through the knee, release your foot from the strap. And we'll adjust on over to the other side, moving yourself into the center of your mat if you had to move over, if you didn't have enough space in your living room. And we've got the pillows moving over to the other side. And you're going to have to move way over a little bit more there. Yeah. Okay, so now we've got the other leg up. So it's the right leg we're on now. Grab hold of the strap. And let's put it up onto that foot. All right, and then making sure that the strap is into your right hand. Bring it on over, the leg on over to the right side, onto your pillow or onto your block, or maybe onto the floor. There we are. Making sure that muscle can relax. I can see a little bit of tension in through his quadricep here, so just let that go a little bit more. Yeah, good. The left leg is straight. If that's what you did on the other side. I'm going to ask you first to just pay attention to the difference between the right and the left side. Sometimes we ignore injury or tension or tightness in a muscle, and we don't notice it, and we think, oh, that's nothing, and then we get on with whatever else we were doing. But it's really neat in yoga that you can actually just sort of tap into all of those sensations and notice things. Is my right adductor tighter than my left adductor? Is my right hip tighter than my left hip? This is the time where you can sort of notice things more. When you're out running or cycling, maybe you don't notice that. And it's important to pay attention so that we Don't push an injury farther than it needs to go. Adjust our sails, adjust our training. Noticing what's going on inside. And if you're feeling fully relaxed into that pose, come back to the breath, counting the inhales and counting the exhales. And we'll start to come out of that side, taking bend in through your right knee. Release the strap. And we'll just put it off to the side for a minute. We're going to come back to a strap stretch later, but not right away. And what do you need? Maybe a little bit of knees into chest. Release your spine. Take some nice groans. Oh, that feels good. Oh, there's nothing like a good yin practice. Let all those tight bits go. Okay, so coming up next, we're going to come up onto our hands and knees. Hands and knees. Getting a little bit more active. We're moving through 3 different poses here. So we're going to start on hands and knees and then shift on up into downward facing dog. So pressing your feet up into the mat, lift yourself all the way up. And yeah, you can just pedal out that downward dog, give your back a little stretch here, give your calves a stretch, bending and straightening in through the legs. Probably feels good after having been on the mat for a while there. And now taking your feet about hip width apart, lift up onto your tippy toes and reach your hips up towards the sky a little taller and press your hips all the way back towards the back of the room as you allow your heels to drop softly on the mat. All right, we'll take the right leg up towards the sky, reach the right leg up nice and high, and then step the right foot in between the hands. It may need a little help getting there. And then take the left knee down towards the mat. So we're coming into a nice hip stretch here. So pressing your right hip forward, reach your hands forward towards the front of the mat and take your right foot a little bit closer to between your hands. There we go. So we've got the right foot in between the hands. We've got the cat wanting to play. And now press your left hip down towards the mat. There we go, a release of the left hip. A nice long hip stretch here. So this is where we're going to rest. Finding a place where you can feel the stretch in your left hip. Right in the front, your iliopsoas, it's called. It's a huge, thick, meaty band of muscle. So we want to make sure that we release that, especially if you feel like you've been sitting down a lot lately. You may feel that it's pretty tight in there. And we scrunch that hip flexor up when we're on the bike. It's constantly in flexion. And when we're running, we also tighten up in through the hip. So this is a great release for tight hips. As you're feeling a little bit more comfortable there, we're not going to change the hip position at all. All we're going to do is take the right arm inside the right knee and then come on down either onto a pillow or onto a block into what we call dragon pose. So take your elbows down onto the pillow. Maybe you need another pillow. Yep. Yep. Okay. Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, good. Do you need another one?
Yeah.
Yeah, one more pillow. Again, we want to find a place where we can rest. There's no cheating with pillows. Pillows are an aid to help us feel good in a pose. So now we're in dragon pose. We've got both arms inside the right knee. And this intensifies the hip stretch. But we don't want it to feel so intense that we're struggling. And if you feel that struggle, release, relax a little bit more. Find a place where it feels right. And we'll move into part 3 of this stretch. And right now we're going to take the right knee over towards the right side of your room. Come onto the right side of your foot. So the inside of your foot is now peeled off the mat. And we've now moved this stretch into the iliotibial band, which stretches between the right side of the right knee and the right side of the right hip. So lots of stuff going on here. This can bring out a lot of emotion for people when they start to really open out through their hips. Just acknowledge that. Notice your breath. Are you holding your breath? And if you're holding your breath, is it because you're struggling in the pose? And if you're struggling in the pose, back it off a little bit. This is a big, big hip stretch here. Nice long spine, lovely. All right, time to come out of that. So to come out, we want to make sure the foot comes back onto the mat and take those pillows on in front of the mat, preparing them for the other side. Reach your right hand around your right knee and take that right foot back. We're back on hands and knees. Lift up into your downward dog. Stretch out as you need to. Maybe bending and straightening in through the knees. And we'll reach the left leg up towards the sky. And step it through the hands. Maybe it needs a little help. You can grab hold of your foot and step it forward through the hands. And we've got the right knee down on the mat. And now reach your right and left hand forward. So you can now inside your, keep it outside your left leg. And now press your right hip down towards the mat. Bring your left foot a little bit farther forward there, Mark. Yeah, good. All right. Reach your right knee back and right hip down. There we go. So we're stretching right in through the right hip. So we gradually move into these stretches. And start to feel the sensations in your right hip. Asking yourself if you're where you want yourself to be. Is it struggle or is it release? Now we start to move a little bit more and bring the left hand inside the left foot. Coming down into dragon pose. Bringing the elbows onto the pillows.
More.
You need more? Yeah.
I'll survive.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll collapse. All right, so we still have the right hip pressing down. Now the shift starts to happen into the left hip as well a little bit. Lots of attention on what's going on here. I can just feel that mind paying attention to what it needs right now. Start to peel your left foot off the mat so you're pushing all of your weight onto the left side of your left foot. The left knee starts to point towards the left side of the room. And now we feel a little bit more of a pull and a stretch in through the left IT band, right down from your left hip into your left knee on the left side. And we'll start to pull out of that stretch. That's enough of that. All right, let's move those pillows out of the way. And release that side. Come all the way back onto your hands and knees and lift up into downward facing dog. Ooh, that's a long way up. Oh. Hello, hips. Hello, spine. Ooh. Looking in between your hands, I'm going to ask you to step both feet in between your hands. So take a little walk in between both hands, taking lots of bend in through your knees. Allow your spine to elongate and ragdoll right there. And we'll come right down to the mat from there, taking bend in through the knees. Put your hands on the mat and sit right back down onto your buttocks. Cat's in the way. All right, we're going to face the other way.
Face this way?
Yeah. And we need that strap just one more time. The final stretch, and that's for the hamstrings. I promised hips and hammies. We are going to finish off with hammies. So lying on your backs, grab hold of your strap.
Lie on the back.
Yeah, lie on your back. And we'll take the left leg up towards the sky and put that strap right on over the left foot. There we go. And we're going to hold on to the strap. Your right leg can be straight or bent, depending on what feels better for you. And we're pulling the strap in towards the chest, the leg in towards the chest. I'm going to ask you to find that place where the leg isn't shaking and hold on to it there. Feeling the tingling in the hamstrings as it starts to release. We want to make sure we have a little micro bend in through the knee. We don't want to be feeling any burning sensations in the attachment of the hamstring into the ischial tuberosity, which is right up into the hip. We don't want to feel any burning there at all. Just should feel the stretch in through the belly of the hamstring. And if you're feeling it at the insertion point, maybe put a little more bend in through your knee today. A lot of people end up with little micro tears in their hamstrings in yoga practices. And quite often it's because the knee is straightened too much, especially when you're bent over in a standing hamstring stretch. Taking a few more breaths here. Keep paying attention and adjusting your sails as you need to. So we get really tight hamstrings when we run. But yoga is a great way to release them a little bit. A lot of people ask me if we should be stretching right after a run, and it's actually better not to stretch right after your run. It's better to take a yin practice the day after a run and just to relax and allow that inflammation to come down just a little bit the day after rather than right after a run. We will start to release that side, bending in through the knee. Release the strap from your foot. And stretch out any way you need to in between before we set up on over for the other side. Bringing the right foot up towards the sky now. Put that strap right around the midfoot. Making sure there's bend in through the knee, a little micro bend. And start to pull that leg in towards the chest. I like to exhale as it starts to release. Just pulling it in and pulling it in, finding that edge, that place where you enjoy the stretch but don't struggle. Feeling that lovely tingling again. Tingling of the hamstring, letting go. Paying attention to whether you're holding on to any tension anywhere in your chest or your neck or your jaw, your teeth. Letting that go. Taking bend in through the knee. Release the strap. And just let that go. Before we move into Shavasana, I'm just going to ask you to take any movements that your body's calling for. Ask yourself right now, what do you need? What's that final release? That windshield wiper, those knees in towards the chest. What does your body need? What does your neck need? Your spine need? And if you're feeling ready to sit and lie in stillness, we'll move into Shavasana, our final resting pose. Palms face up towards the sky. The shoulders should be resting quietly on the mat. Feeling around for those shoulder blades, making sure that they're flat on the mat. Release your neck and your jaw one more time. Paying attention to any tension that you're feeling and allowing that to release. Listening to the vibration of the singing bowl. When you're ready, you can pull out of your Shavasana. Maybe you need a little more time in Shavasana today. Take the time that you need to stretch and to breathe, to move. Or maybe you need a little bit more time just relaxing on your back. I'm going to thank you now for joining me today. Remembering, when you can't control the winds, adjust your sails. Have a great, great day. And thank you to Martin for being our lovely demonstrator today. I hope you're feeling wild and wonderful now, and that you can get on with a great, great day and a great week. And I will see you again on Monday for our power yoga session. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Love having you guys connected together in this crazy COVID time. Take care of yourselves and your first, and then your family second. Have a good day.